And we are live. Welcome to the first Pistons Jack post-game show for the 2026 NBA season. I'm very excited for these. Last season, these were called fan reacts, but for this season, we'll be calling them something simple: Pistons post-game show, Pistons Jack post-game show. But thank you, everyone in the chat. Typically, we're going to try to get these started about 15 to 20 minutes after the final buzzer. So shout out to my man Nuggies. First comment in the stream tonight. We'll go through all of your comments. We'll talk about the game. I'll share my thoughts. And then for those that maybe are new to the channel, new to the page, anyone can come up on stage and talk about Pistons hoops with me after the first 10 to 15 minutes once I've shared my thoughts and we let people filter in. So basically, I'll drop the link in the chat. Pistons Jack subscribers over on Instagram will get priority, but everyone else is welcome to come up, share their thoughts. We try and keep these streams for about an hour long. I'm going to try and be a little bit more strict on that this season, but just this post-game show, like I said, I give my thoughts, but then it's your chance to come up, talk about the team, talk about anything Detroit Pistons related. This is the home for that. And it's going to be a very fun season. Shout out to my guy, Sean. You can see Zave in here, Jar19, Devin. Appreciate all of you, especially most of you who joined me throughout the off season. So, but the Pistons played basketball tonight, or today for me. It feels like, I'm not sure about for those watching, but it feels like this tends to happen, but it kind of crept up on us. You kind of sit through all of August and September, counting the days down, counting the months down. And then all of a sudden, like media day, training camp and preseason, it feels like it all happens. It's all back within like a week. So it feels very sudden. And it kind of looked like our boys tonight were a bit, the Grizzlies caught them off guard. And it was a bit sudden that they were back on an NBA court playing against other NBA teams, because that first 8 minutes of that first quarter, or maybe the second half of the first quarter, it kind of reminded me a little bit of last year's first preseason game where the Bucks just came out and were cooking the Pistons. The Grizzlies were without Jaren Jackson Jr. and a couple of other starters, or Brandon Clark, who's a key rotation piece. So they were down a few. The Pistons, Jalen Duren was a late scratch with a hamstring injury. So he was out. Stu started him, but the Pistons were pretty healthy for the most part, and the Grizzlies just came out and could not miss. They were 9 of 10 from three, but it kind of felt like, at least to me, and I'm not sure about for you guys in the chat, but someone's correcting me. Yeah, I've got the wrong. It shouldn't say that. Should be the Grizzlies. Pistons defeat Grizzlies, not Heat. But I think everyone can see that. We're just getting warmed up here, but so. Yeah, the Grizzlies did shoot the ball well, but it also felt like our boys just weren't fully. They didn't match the intensity. I don't know if it's because the Grizzlies, a lot of their starters were out, so it was bench players on. And typically, I think bench guys, when they get their moment preseason or not, they're going to go 110%. And it felt like our starters were more cruising a little bit. There was some careless turnovers. I think they had 10 in the first quarter and a half, and it just looked like, as well, Ivy was back for the first time, and they just looked out of sync. They were, Karis LeVert and Duncan Robinson took a minute to get in. But honestly, after that first quarter, it was all Pistons. I felt like for 75% of the last three quarters. And I think we have to start, we're talking about players, with Cade. He was probably one of the few in the first quarter whose offensive game actually looked like it hadn't skipped a beat. He had a couple of turnovers, but even in the first quarter, he had like a three, a nice midi, and then got to the cup for like a layup. And then he only played the first half, played 18 minutes, had 20 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, couple of steals. And like, it's only preseason. The Grizzlies were missing a fair few players, but he looked like he's scoring. Like last season, he averaged 26 a game, which to me is like quite high for someone like Cade, who's also a facilitator. Like, if he's going to play that aggressive and his shot's going to look that good, like, he easily could be like around 27, 28, set another career high in points per game. Like, one preseason game, one half preseason basketball. Jokingly, we'll all say he's like looking like an MVP, but honestly, like I think he's like seventh or eighth in MVP odds. Like, um, if he can keep that kind of rhythm, obviously he's not going to always shoot the ball 8 of 11 from deep, but I think it was something with Cade in the past. Is sometimes I feel like he's a little bit slow in the preseason. Um, Last season he started well as a scorer in the regular season, but sometimes in the preseason he can take it a bit slower. But I thought tonight he just looked like like prime peak Cade. So he was probably the biggest bright spot. I also have to shout out Isaiah Stewart and B-Ball Paul Reed. I thought Stu knocked down a three tonight, took two. The one he made looked pure, nothing but net. He had a couple of like standing dunks that I don't you don't typically see Stu go for, but they were powerful. I think the main takeaway for me was like his leg. I think it was his knee and calf. He ended up saying at media day that were bothering him in the playoffs, but he looked fit, ready to go. Had a block shot, and I thought he looked fine, healthy, which is the big thing for Stu. And then B-Ball Paul had 12 rebounds in 17 minutes. Uh, Two blocks, couple of assists. I thought he was just everywhere. Some of those rebounds over the top, 5 offensive rebounds. We know he's going to be the third string center, but you never know against the likes of teams like the Cavs and some of these bigger teams like the Mavs. We've seen them tonight playing. I think they're against the Thunder. Like they're a huge team. Maybe there's some minutes where B-Ball Paul comes in and you put him alongside Stu. I don't know. I just could see that whenever he's on the court, his like deficiencies are like he's obviously undersized, and he has some other things that are glaring. But what he does is he always impacts. He's always hustling. He's always rebounding, and I think that's you know that's everything JB loves. So whilst he is the third string center, I could see him finding minutes a bit more regularly than maybe at least I first thought. But um, that's enough on the big men. Have to go to Jaden Ivey quickly. Awesome to see him back out in the court. For those that kind of forgot, it's his first game in just over 10 months. I believe he got injured on New Year's Day last season. So awesome to see him back out there. Clearly, and I said this on my video that went live uh, earlier this morning previewing the game, like he's going to be rusty. Don't be too up or down with how he plays. He had 4 turnovers, I think, in the first quarter, or 3 turnovers, but he looks fast. He looks like he hasn't lost anything athletically. In the second quarter, he figured it out. He got to his spots a little bit more, and he knocked down a 3. I think he had like a full court like transition bucket to finish the first half. He finished with 7 points, I believe. So he had the 3 turnovers overall, but they were all in the first half. Played 14 minutes, so bit of like a it reminded me a bit of like rookie Jaden Ivey in that first quarter where he was just full steam every time he got the ball, trying to split defenders. But he, he settled down a bit, got into a bit more of the flow of the offense as the team settled down, and just awesome to see him back on the court. I think it's important to remember with Ivy throughout all the preseason and honestly, like the first, I don't know, maybe I'm being generous here, but maybe the first 3 weeks of the season, like he hasn't like when this team really started clicking and gelling, he kind of got he was there for the first few games, but then he obviously went down with injury. So he hasn't really played with this team in their successful stint. Plus, he's coming off a broken leg. So he's gonna take him a minute to find his rhythm and figure out where to be on offense and that kind of thing. But just awesome to see him back on the court. Who else have we got? Quick shout out to Tobias, of course. Came out, had a poster pretty much straight away. 5 of 7, 13 points. Kind of just does what Tobias does in a good Tobias game. I don't think I need to add too much else. Only played the 14 minutes. And then we have to talk about the 9 to 5 duo, Ausar and Ron Holland. I think Ausar was a bit of a slower start, like pretty much the whole starting unit and anyone in the first quarter. But you saw him on ball a little bit more, running some pick and rolls, had a crazy block, then got the rebound off a Stu block, took it all the way, and had like a pretty highlight reel material dunk in the third quarter. Just looked like his athletic self, making defensive plays. Probably the one thing I noticed was a couple of maybe silly fouls on Ty Jerome, but Ty Jerome's a bit of a shifty player, so yeah, it's preseason. They're rusty. And then Ron Holland, I thought Ron's jumper. Um, how many threes did he take? He hit one, and then he took three overall. Continues to just be a bucket in transition. Like he was like that last season. Uh, he's really good for someone who's probably doesn't have the strongest frame. He's just really good at like doing Euro steps, side steps in transition around his defender in front of him and just like finishing around his opponent or finding a gap, even in transition. He's just really good at converting those opportunities. He also had a nice chase down block as well. So I really like the idea of playing Stu, Ron, and Asar together. And that's what we saw in the third quarter for a little bit. I think that's one of the Pistons' most versatile defensive trios. And, they had Duncan Robinson, I think, and Cade out there with those two. And that's a lineup I'm really excited to see, especially if Stu's going to space the floor. But those are kind of my key takeaways. Duncan Robinson as well, after airballing his first three, I thought he was going to have some sort of Pistons curse coming back to Detroit, airballing his first three, but he had a really nice game in the end. 10 points, 5 rebounds, 3 steals, couple of assists. I think you saw some of that like secondary, tertiary playmaking from him, and his jumper just looks really pure, and like that's someone you can't leave open. So we might talk about some of the other guys when some people come up on stage here, but I want to go through the chat now. Appreciate you all in here. We're going to go with Nuggies first. I hope JB lets Ivy play a lot of minutes in the preseason. He's got some serious rust to dust off. Yeah, we touched on that. I could look. What did he play tonight? 14 minutes, maybe. I think the starters, particularly Cade and Ivy, are probably maybe Ivy's minutes go a little bit up, but I don't expect him to play any more than 18, 19 minutes a game. But there's going to be rust there for a while. Shout out to you, Jar. They look great in the second half. Honestly, from the second quarter onwards, I thought they were really solid, particularly that second half of the second. Matty Ice, such a nice problem to have for once that we have like 12 players who could legit contribute. Yeah, there's a fair few guys there. Awesome to see Chaz Lanier come back to where he played college last season in Tennessee, and he hit 3 threes, 11 points. Spoke about it on the preview show I did as well. Was going to be very interested to see how he goes playing alongside Cade and some of the more experienced players, because I felt like at Summer League he was, next to Tolu, Dennis, Ron, and Bobby, who had all played a little bit together in the NBA or Cruise, and it just felt like he couldn't find his spots at Summer League, but found his spots tonight, albeit against the Grizzlies bench and second or end of bench guys. But there is some depth there, which is good. Maddie, let's go. Absolutely, brother. I hope you're going to come up here in a minute. Keen to hear your thoughts. Devin, what's going on, my man? Get you up here as well if you got the time. Sean, hope you've been well, my friend. Beers to all Pistons fans. In the meantime, while I go through some more comments here, we're going to drop the link into the chat. So like I said, all you need to do is copy and paste this link into your browser and we'll get you up here. I want to hear all your thoughts, immediate reactions on that first preseason game. Just kind of touched on Chaz. I thought he was solid. I'm not expecting a lot from him this season, but if we do have an injury or two in the backcourt, even a short-term injury, it is nice to know he can come in and knock down NBA level threes. Also had, I think he had a putback that surprised me. Maybe he missed the putback, but it surprised me. He actually had some bounce. So that was cool to see. Tom, what's going on, Tom? I'm not sure if you're at work or not, but hope you can jump on as well and keen to hear your thoughts. We've got Prince in the chat. Appreciate everyone in here. Looks like we've got Prince ready to come up here. We've got Cody in here. Haven't heard from you in a long time, brother. Feel free to come up and share your thoughts as well, my guy. Last question here, then we'll go to Prince to get some of his thoughts. Are you worried about Cade's fouling? Not really. Did he have? I guess he had 4 fouls tonight. I think he the foul trouble was a thing his first 3 years. I think he figured that out a bit last year, but it is something to keep an eye on. Probably more the turnovers for me, for Cade to keep an eye on. Had 3 tonight, but it's preseason. All right, I can see we've got Maddie and Prince down the bottom. Oh, Maddie with the donation. Absolute legend. Appreciate that, mate. Um, we've got Ash in here as well. Shout out to Ron's Hustle. Appreciate you, Ash. Maybe you'll come up on this stream or one soon. But oh, he's gonna come up. Good. All right, let's get the Prince and we'll go to Maddie, then we'll go to Ash. All right. We're gonna keep it one at a time, but we'll try and keep these moving through.
What's going
Prince,
on,
what's up?
Jack? Shit's been
How you been?
good. I've been great. I've been great. Things have been great, you know.
Um, thoughts on tonight's game? I forgot your mum is a Grizzlies fan, isn't she? Is that right?
Yeah, I got her
Or
Grizzlies
Ash?
jersey. This is it right. I got her this jersey with her
Is that?
name on the back,
Oh, that's pretty cool.
and it's just like she ain't wearing it tonight. She had to take it off. She was like, "Nah, no way." But hey, she goes both ways. But even still, she was really mad after the loss tonight. But yeah, today was a great game, and I feel like we did very well on both sides. And I feel like by the end of the game, I feel like it was very much a lot of fouling to me. I feel like it was fouling back and forth. It was like just let the game clock run at this point. It's like the game was decided, and I feel like it wasn't really no need to like do all of that. But I think that we had a really great game, and even though we were kind of sloppy in the first quarter, we really hashed that out in the second and kept our lead in the third and the fourth.
Yeah, no, it was the first quarter was a bit scary. Were you having any overreaction thoughts?
Yeah, I
Were you
was just
thinking
like,
maybe
oh
we're
my
cooked?
gosh. Like, are we trying to win? Like, that's the thing for me in the first quarter. But once we got to the second quarter, everything started coming back together. These are the Pistons that I know. It's like, you know, but hey, it's a great unofficial win, like Downtown Dew said. So just excited, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was a fun game in the end after a bit of a scary start. But what did you think of your man Tobias? He had a nice he was looking pretty good. I have to ask you about Tobias.
No, I think Tobias did great, and I'm glad that even at his old age, he's still doing great as a Pistons player. And I feel like can we consider Tobias the only vet on the team? Because I feel like if anything, he's definitely the oldest. But I do want to say that he did great, and I loved how he was driving a lot more than he usually does. And yeah, I like to see that kind of performance from Tobias, you know?
Yeah, no, he was solid. I thought, was there any other standouts to you? What were like your was there a specific play? Like I didn't actually talk about that reverse from Cade on the there was a bit of a bad lob pass from Tobias, but Cade made it work. Yeah, was there anything that stood out to you? A player?
Well, Well, I feel like it was all of the players. In fact, I feel like everybody during that game was making their own personal contribution, and I feel like the shooting was there. And I did also want to say Duncan Robinson really did his big one. I mean, I everybody was like, "Oh, he's not going to be a better shooter than Beasley." But like after seeing this, I was like, I'm really excited to see how Duncan Robinson is going to play during the season. So I feel like if I could give it to somebody, it would be Duncan Robinson. But of course, Cade is going to show out. He's the MVP. He's the best player on our team. But I feel like if anything, 20 points in one half is a very, very good performance. So I feel like Cade definitely deserves his props, especially with that underhand. But do want to also say that Duncan Robinson, Karis LeVert, so glad to see my Michigan boys. And I'm so glad that they got to show out. And I feel like the shooting by everybody that day. I got to see a lot of new people that I didn't even know about. So I feel like the shooting, it was there, and I love each player's personal contribution to the game, you know?
Yeah, no, it was like I said, after that first 8 minutes, it was a lot of fun. It was a bit scary there for a minute, even though it is just preseason, but awesome to just see like all the athleticism and that some of the defensive stuff that we saw last season um, come back and the team flying around, getting out in transition. So no, it was a really fun game, Prince. And I love you highlighting Duncan Robinson because I think he's going to be a really key piece for a lot of reasons. And I thought tonight you got to see a little bit of what else he can do outside of just shooting threes. But we've got another couple of people here, Prince. But I want to give you a chance to just get off any final thoughts, maybe a prediction, anything that's been on your mind since we last spoke.
Well, I do want to say that the Memphis Grizzlies have got to be one of the worst franchises, most fraud franchises in the NBA. I just got to say, like, your jerseys look like summer league jerseys, high school jerseys, don't even got a sponsor. Your stadium is trash. Well, your arena is trash. I feel like every time I go to FedEx Forum, it's just like 2017. It's nothing new about it. They got this new Jumbotron. It's not even that big. And I feel like the Grizzlies are just such a fraud franchise. And no hate to the Grizzlies. I still have a lot of love. When I met John Morant, he was one of the coolest people I've ever met. Not cooler than Cade, not cooler than Stu, though. But I do want to also say that much love to the Grizzlies franchise, but just not for me. Pistons will always be better, and I'd love to see a rivalry cook up over time. And yeah, that's all I really have to say. I mean, it was a great game, and I can't wait for the next. But
Let's
yeah,
go.
shout out Sergeant Edwards for tuning in. Shout out to my whole Panther Battalion. Shout out to Aaliyah. Shout out to Alyssa. Shout out to Farah. Shout out to everybody who's watching me right now that from Langston. And yeah, thank you so much, Jack, for having me on
Of
once
course,
again.
bro.
Together all the time together.
Yes, sir, brother. And I'm sure we'll see you after the Bucks game on Thursday. I can't wait to talk to you then.
All right. See ya.
Catch you, bro. Bye. All right, let's bring up now my guy, Matty. Matty,
What
what did we
up,
think?
though?
My
And we
guy.
back, and we back, and we back. Pistons Jack
Oh.
post-game show. Hey, I like the ring to that. That sounds good.
Yeah. I thought we'd mix it up a little bit just
Right.
to make it as simple as possible for people to know what it is, because I know all of yourself and Devin and the rest of the crew will be here. But yeah, no, I'm excited to have these back running after every game. And have you changed your backdrop a little bit? Has anything been added there?
Yeah, my wife ended up putting the rally towels up from the playoffs.
Yeah, those are sick.
Back to work. Hey, back to work, baby.
Man, I gotta get my, I can't swear. I gotta get my stuff together though with my backdrop. But what did you think of the game? Were you able to watch it all?
Yeah, I watched pretty much all of it. I thought it was pretty solid, honestly. Obviously that start, about halfway through the first quarter, I was like, all right, sell the team, change the name, move them to Vegas, and tear down LCA. But then I realized maybe I'm overreacting. And no, that was a great.
I just want because I was like having some dark thoughts because we all get very emotional, even though like I know it's ridiculous, it's crazy, but I was just like, they're not starting any, like they're missing half their starting lineup, like and then
and then it didn't help that the Grizzlies couldn't miss from three, just one after another.
I know it's good to feel like, maybe I'm a bit of a sicko, but it's good to feel like so invested in watching a game because I don't get like that with summer league or anything. So it's exciting to have that emotion back.
Right.
A sports team, but
and
sorry, I kind of cut you off.
You're good. And Cade just looked like a monster, honestly. Like he looks like he's ready to go for this season. That's for sure.
Yeah, that was like the biggest thing to me. It was like some of the other starters looked a bit like rusty and maybe just not fully locked in, but at least on offense, apart from a turnover or two from the start, he was crazy.
He was locked in, honestly.
He just looks so everything just looks so crisp and like just on point, like no rust.
For real. That like right away, I was like, everything he does already looks like so smooth. Basically, his shot, that crazy lob he had under the rim was insane.
Yeah. No, that was like, I don't think I've ever seen him do something like that. Like grab it from one side. Because he's like normally not a guy that like he can get a poster dunk, but in terms of athletic plays, he's normally a bit lower to the ground. But like that was crazy.
Right. I'm like, man, maybe he's gonna show us something else this season. Like, because that was crazy.
No, it was that was awesome. Like he was probably the biggest takeaway. Was there a player maybe I've discussed or not that you were like, they kind of not surprised you, but you just thought, wow, they played a really good game, really solid game.
I liked the game Chaz had. I thought he hit most of his shots, and he looked pretty good out there, honestly.
Yeah, no, the jumper looks really good. Like we know he can shoot, but I think like to come out first preseason game, like and just knock down 3 threes, that'll help his confidence a lot.
Right.
Because Because I think I didn't really touch on this in the open, but I think we kind of saw roughly what the rotation will be with JB's first couple of subs. Like it seems like Sassa's probably the 10th guy. Obviously,
Yeah, that's
B-Ball
kind of
Paul
what I
was
got
playing,
too.
but like I could see like if Chaz can like really shoot it, like I don't know, maybe he can be a guy that's part of the rotation every couple of games, or if there's some injuries.
Right,
I kind
right.
of had him pencils in to be maybe more Cruz, or at least just end of the bench. But if he's going to shoot the ball like that, can always have more
Right, then
shooting.
they could find a spot, yeah. And I've heard he's done really good in training camp so far too, so that's also a positive sign.
No, I'd love to hear that. Because he is an older player, an older rookie,
Right, yeah,
so
yeah,
he's
yeah.
definitely got the potential to come in and be ready to go right away. Thoughts on Jaden Ivey? First time getting to see him in a long time.
It was definitely cool. He had that good and one at the end of the half or whatever. He looked a little rusty at first with the turnovers and that, but I think he'll definitely get better with time.
Yeah, no, he will. I think give him a couple of weeks in the regular season as well. Like I wouldn't be
Right to really. And
like I
then
saw some people overreacting on Twitter, but like just the man, he just had a broken leg.
right,
like,
yeah, he hasn't played in so
long. But yeah, like you said, he'll figure it out.
Right. And then another thing I liked was Ausar with the ball. I thought looked really good, bringing it up the floor, passing it. I feel like our fast break is going to be crazy this year, honestly.
No, I couldn't agree more. Like those blocks so Stu got a block and then Ausar grabbed the rebound and just darted straight down the floor. Or whether we're getting steals, blocks, just a rebound and grabbing and go, like that was the other thing that once they locked in, I was like, wow, this team is so athletic. Like, not that we didn't know that, but we just haven't gotten to see it in like however long it's been since the playoffs. And just see them run like that, I was like, wow, I agree. Like in transition, will definitely. Not even looking at numbers. I just think with the athleticism they have, will be one of the best teams for sure.
Right, they're definitely going to get down the floor fast. That's for sure.
No.
Any
other takeaways? Yeah, no. I was like, you've always got a hat on, don't you? I was like, does Matt look any different? Well, I was like, I'm not going to say anything, so I can't tell. My memory's horrible, but no hat, Matty. Sure, I feel like Sean's got a good eye for this stuff.
But not a whole lot of takeaways. Was glad we finished strong. Hopefully we don't start slow next time, but I figured this should have been an easy win with the Grizzlies missing. They're already in midseason form, honestly. Half their roster's already out.
Literally. Oh, man. I think, who are they missing? Edie, Jaren Jackson Jr., Jar, Desmond Bain's no longer there, but bit of a different
team. Bad already.
But appreciate you jumping on, Matty.
Yup, no problem.
Legend.
Looking forward to a lot of dubs this season. First of many.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, my guy. Appreciate you.
Yup. All right, Jack.
All right, catch ya, bro. All right, we're going to bring up my man, Ash, in just a second. Let me remove Matty. I think he's frozen. Here we go. Ash, what's going on?
What up, man?
Oh,
how was the game?
This is different. I'm used to seeing you in person.
Yeah, this is nice.
For those that don't know, Ash, and we have another guy called Pat. They're both from Melbourne, Australia, but Ash lives in Melbourne with me and has been helping me out with some of the content you might have seen at the NBL teams, and he's going to be helping out with some other things. He'll be helping out with these streams as well during the season. So Ash I'll let you tell your story. How'd you become a Pistons fan?
I've been a Pistons fan for maybe like 20 years.
20.
Yeah, somewhere around there. I started following in like 06, maybe. Not long after the going to work. So I missed the glory days, and I've just soldiered through the tough days. Yeah.
Well, I think there's a lot of people in here who've been through some of the tough days, but
they can relate at home.
Yes, absolutely. But is there a specific player or what's like your earliest Pistons memory? Was it like a game you saw? Was there a poster? Was it like a Slam magazine or something?
I just one of the going back to like that early era, the one thing that like still sticks out to me is that Rodney Stuckey poster on, I think it was Chris Bosh, like that huge, huge dunk over the top of him. And I was a Stuckey believer at the time. So I was like, he's done it. He's going to show everyone. He never did, but here we are.
He was.
Yeah.
I feel like Stuckey was obviously I knew who he was, but when I became a fan in 2012, I think Stuckey only played another season or two. I can't remember if he started, but he was like a six man for a bit there. But I can definitely see why everyone was a huge believer of him. But who would think we're talking about Rodney Stuckey, 2025 first preseason game?
After a preseason game against the Memphis Grizzlies. Niche.
But Ash, immediate thoughts.
I
on the
mean that
preseason
first
game.
quarter was rusty as hell.
Yeah.
That first quarter looks like, you know, when you've not played basketball for a year and you go and pick up a ball again on the street and you're like, oh shit. That's how I do it. It just
know.
looked like, you know, new players on the team, you know, missed passes, all of that kind of jazz. And, you know, being a typical Pistons fan, did the overreaction.
Yeah.
You know, halfway through
I
that
think-
first quarter, I'm like unsubscribing to League Pass. I'm like, season's done, you know.
Oh,
And then, you know, they go and turn it around. Prove me
I
wrong.
know. I was doing the like haven't got enough shooting. I don't know if like maybe losing Malik and THJ like we're cooked. I've lost the culture's gone. All these stupid thoughts in my head. I think
Yeah.
it doesn't
I
matter
think it's a
preseason or
Pistons
not.
thing.
It just I think we're so tortured, especially the last 15 years of like we're so used to getting so excited for a season and then literally within the first 5 games you just feel like all hope's gone. So it's a PTSD we'll probably be with for another couple of seasons.
I think
but,
maybe that's what it is. It's just we're all triggered. Yeah.
Yeah, very much so. Shout out to you, Brian. Appreciate you jumping on. But yeah, sorry, Ash.
Not at
Expand
all.
on your thoughts.
Super happy for Ivy to be back on the court. Like he looked a bit rusty, but nailed that three, like that open three to open his scoring. And then obviously closing the half. That was like vintage Ivy. That's that taster of like, yeah, okay, he's still got it.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
can tell, like, I mean, I think most level-headed fans knew he'd be a bit rusty. Like, and I think like you just saw him forcing a little bit. Like, I think whilst he was forcing it, at least 2 of his turnovers for him trying to sprint and like split defenders and like just do a little bit too much. But it's good to see he's still got that confidence in sprinting through contacts, like, you know, because he got that injury in transition. I was a freak, like bloody Cole Anthony, like diving at the legs, but like, you know, just to see him not really be phased. So, but
absolutely.
I like it. Definitely vintage Ivy to close the half, and good to see him knock his 3 down, 1 of 1. So, yeah, just awesome to see him back out there, to be honest.
100. I was super impressed by Jenkins too in that fourth.
Great shout out.
He's definitely one that for me, he's under the radar. I didn't know a lot about him. I think, you know, we know what to expect from Basketball Paul. We know what to expect from, you know, some of those other sort of bench and, you know, fringe players. But Jenkins for me was one that I was like, oh, okay. I see you.
Well, you remember when we were at Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. So for those, Ash, myself, and Pat went down to the NBL team here in Melbourne, and we were talking to the coach, and he was telling us how like he's been trying to. I think it was when he was coaching in Europe, he was doing everything to try and get Dennis Jenkins on his team, because he's just viewed as like a true NBA player. And when I said to this coach, I was like, "Oh, try and get him to the Phoenix." He just shook his head. He's like, "No, there's no way we're getting him down here. He's too good." And I think he balled out for the Cruise last season, was definitely a bright light at Summer League, and then comes in that fourth quarter and, immediately knocks a 3 down. Wow, he had 6 assists. Him and
Yeah, I think he
Tolu
led the
Smith are
team.
like G League Kobe Shaq. They have like so much chemistry. I think Tolu had a double in like 10 minutes or something ridiculous. But yeah, appreciate you, Jar. Get some sleep. We'll get you back on the stream Thursday. But yeah, Dennis he's too good to be a two-way player. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with him this season in his role.
But he's showing out so far, so they might be able to,
Definitely.
hopefully, if they can make some room, they can convert him. You don't want to see that kind of talent leave.
No, it's interesting. So I don't know if you know this, Ash, but him and Sasa are like childhood friends, or at least played a lot of. They're from both from Texas, I think, and they're almost like competing for a similar spot on the team. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens there. Trying to think if there's anyone I haven't really touched on. I mean, Karis LeVert, I'm not gonna lie, he looked like he was out there just doing some wind sprints or something. He was probably the one guy to me that just kind of couldn't get anything going. But I'm not stressed. You'd like to see him knock a 3 down or something, but yeah. Any other takeaways?
I mean, Cade, MVP, call it now.
Man,
put your money, put your house on it. Honestly,
the house.
24-3 in 19 minutes.
Yeah,
that's
crazy.
Absurd.
And he was really hustling on defense as well. Most of the team did, but he had a couple of steals in the backcourt that led to fast break points. I don't know how realistic it is to expect him to actually become a true two-way player with how much offense he's going to have to still carry this season. But when he wants to, I truly think he's a
he
great
can lock
defender.
in.
Yeah.
And he looks bigger too. He looks stronger. He looks like he's done some work in the gym. But if we're talking Detroit D, thanks, Matty.
Bet the
Appreciate
mortgage.
that. Got to shout out Ron Holland. The hustle from the start. I think saves that out of bounds in the first couple of minutes of the game. There's that chase down block. That man is never off.
No.
He would be a nightmare in practice. You'd get his defensive matchup in practice and you'd be like, oh.
Yeah, just
oh God.
CBF. No, I know what you mean.
I'll just go stand in the corner.
I loved how control Ron looked as well. He had a couple of turnovers at the start, but kind of everyone did. I just thought you think where his shot selection was at the start of last season, when I feel like he would take some wild rush shots and to just he did it. He was good at summer league as well. This isn't anything new, but you can almost forget he's just turned 20. I think there's so much potential there, and just to see him score 9 points in how many minutes did he play? Let's say he played 15 or something. He didn't play many. Yeah, 15. 50% from the floor. Love to see it. But Brian has a question here. What were your thoughts on Duncan and his debut tonight?
I think for me, Duncan had exactly what we'd expect. Definitely got nervous from that first airball 3.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think you mentioned earlier, I was like, oh no.
This is going to make, do you remember that there's always a player I think of the Pistons curse of when they come here, they can't shoot, and it's Luigi Datomi. Do you remember he was with? This is so sad. I can't keep bringing up.
Do you remember him hitting the side of the backboard?
Yes. He was meant to be this his MVP from the Italian league, meant to be this absolute sniper, and just could not shoot at the NBA level, at least the Pistons.
All tortured Pistons fans will remember that side of the backboard shot. But thankfully, Duncan Robinson, I thought he was great Either is exactly what we expected and exactly
Yeah.
what this team needs, particularly
So
with like Malik not here.
exactly. And one thing, and I think like I remember like reading and watching some stuff after we signed him, but the thing that separates him from Malik and THJ on offense is his passing and him just being able to drive and kick under control. Like I thought he only had 2 assists, but I think he's from all of those reps he's had with like Bam back at Miami of like using Bam as a screener or handoff. Like he's really good at like, yes, he's going to look to shoot coming off those, but he's really good with like 1 or 2 dribbles into the paint and just making a kick out to the corner. Or like and because he's like 6'8", he's got a bit more height than those 2 to do that. So, yeah, we know he's an elite shooter, like 2 of 6 tonight, but it feels like most of them are always going in. Like 3 steals as well. Didn't expect that. So I thought pretty
no
impressive.
disrespect to Malik and THJ. They were, they were elite and love them to bits.
Yep.
But I think Duncan Robinson can sort of like facilitate that offense a little better. He's not just gonna like black hole the ball and just, like as soon as you get it, it's a shot. He's gonna be able to find that other pass and that other play too. I think that's probably where he'll benefit, particularly that bench unit.
Definitely. And he constantly moves. Like, and I think that's something he probably learned under Coach Spo. I didn't really watch him at Michigan, but like always moving, just a high IQ player on offense. So really like Malik and THJ would just like get the ball, and I feel like you just want them to shoot straight away. You don't really want them dribbling. You just want them jacking it up because they're so elite off to catch. But I think Duncan's got a bit more, and it was good to see that after bit of a slow start, like everyone though.
Yeah.
But
Even though he did airball that first one, I did like the action, like that play call that came from it. Like he did get, that little screen and that little sort of show around. Like it was nice, like a nice little action to see, because that's exactly the shots that like, he's been hitting for years in the NBA. So I think it was a good look anyway.
And we haven't, he's Jalen Durham was out. So that's someone who's going to be really key with Duncan forming chemistry and playing off one another. And he wasn't there tonight. So that's something else just to look forward to. But Ash, before I let you go and go through some comments to wrap up the show, any other thoughts, any predictions, any other key takeaways maybe we haven't discussed?
No, I think we've covered it all here, but I'm just keen for the season. Happy to be here. Thanks for welcoming me on. Thanks for welcoming me to the team, and I'm sure I'll get to know all these guys at home a bit better through the season. But I think the biggest takeaway for me from that is that that resilience to fight back from that sort of pretty horrific first quarter. So that's going to lead them well through the season. Just to, even though it's preseason, even though Jar and Triple J aren't there, just the ability to be able to fight back, make buckets, get stops. It's going to lead to good plays through the season. So overall, happy.
No, absolutely. I think that's a great call. Like, it doesn't matter who's playing or what game it is. You don't want to see your team down by 20, 22 points in the first quarter, giving up nearly 50. Like, that's just not good for anyone. So it was good to see him fight back and start with a nice little dub. But Ash, thanks so much for jumping on, my man. I'm going to go through some comments now, but we'll chat very soon, I'm sure. I'll see you soon.
Yes, we will.
Will you be able to come back? Are you working Friday? Oh, I've lost him.
Yes. I'm working Friday, but I think I'll be back in a week for potentially the Bucks. I think maybe.
Gotcha.
But I'll be back. I'll be back. Don't worry. Yeah.
Legend. All right, we'll chat soon, mate. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too, man.
Catch you, bro. Bye. All right, we are going to wrap up the show here in the next few minutes, but I'm just going to go through some comments here. I've got some starred. Thank you to everyone in the chat. 1 second. Brian says, is there any other update on Malik? I still remain optimistic for a return. I think the latest with Malik is just, I don't think any team's going to sign him while he has the NBA and federal investigation still ongoing. Even though he's not a target or a key suspect, whatever the phrasing is, he's still, I think while those two investigations linger, I don't think a team is probably going to take the risk on signing him, which is unfortunate because if he does end up not guilty or anything in all of this, it's impacted his career. So I do feel like the Pistons are still keeping that roster spot open for him. So I think if those investigations wrap up, like who knows when they could wrap up, could be a year, it could be 1 week. We don't know. I feel like they will make a play to get him because they can still put together one of the best offers for him, whether it's 1 season or multiple years. So something to keep an eye on. Camille, tell Kyle Metz I said hi. Appreciate the super chat, my friend. And one day we're getting you up here. Camille is from Turkey. He's Pistons Turkey on Twitter. But yeah, Camille, I feel like I've known for a few years now on Twitter, and I really appreciate you. And I'll let Kyle know you said hi. Nuggy said, I love RB, but my man needs to get back to that relaxed slasher he was last year. I agree. I think we've gone through it, but yeah, great point. I feel like he was just going a million miles an hour in that first quarter, and he did slow down a little bit. So he'll get there. Sean, I don't think that Tolo is an NBA player, but I really hope that he proves me wrong. Great dude. I think I'm with you. I feel like it's hard to tell, like, if he's an NBA player or not. Like, I think he could be for sure, but the man is just an elite rebounder. Like 11 rebounds in 12 minutes. Doesn't matter who you're going against. Like, that's crazy. He just puts up numbers. So we'll see what happens with him. Trill City TV. Can you explain why you have the Heat up there and not the Grizzlies? Yeah, it's just a typo. This is the last time I used this kind of graphic. It was from the Pistons Heat Summer League game, so I just forgot to change that out. So apologies for that. We'll fix that up as we go through the season. Devin says, glad to see Jay back on the court. Just got to give him time to get back into game shape. J.I. will be a difference maker this year. 100% agree. We've got a few more comments here that we're going to wrap this up. Ellen Joseph, Chaz Lanier looked pretty good out there as well. Reckon he'll get some solid rotational minutes throughout the season. I think so. I don't think it's going to be consistent, but there'll be a sprained ankle here and there, some calf soreness, something where he'll be required to come in. And if he can knock down threes and capitalize on those opportunities, then maybe he works his way into that rotation. We know JB likes to play 10 players, and I feel like even with a fully healthy team, that 10th spot is still kind of up for grabs. YouTube user Ausar after one preseason game. Ausar looks exactly like Ausar did last season. Hopefully, he can develop throughout the season. Yeah, his role was a little bit different today. I like to see him just more aggressive, getting downhill. But yeah, look, it's preseason. I'll wait till a month or two into the regular season to make some real judgments. All right, Joe B. This will be the second last one, then we're going to wrap it up. The 4-win combo meal lineup with Ausar, Karras, Duncan, Ron, Stew was pretty lit. The G League guys were torching Santi, Scottie Pippen, except the end there too. No, great point. That's the thing. The Grizzlies, I think they had KCP on as well. So no, the end of the bench guys, two-way guys, really came in and kept the pressure on, which you love to see. Corey Cade going for MVP. Yeah, he is. If the team can win 50 games, I think he's going to be in the conversation. It's going to be tough to beat guys like Jokic, SGA and stuff, but I think he was 7th last season. The team won 44 games. So we'll see. Maybe he can get into that top 4 this year with a big season and some more wins. All right, last one here to wrap it up from Nuggies. I'm predicting us to have a pretty slow start to the season again and then starting to see him rolling after week 5. We'll see. I could see that happening. I'm actually the opposite. I think when you look at the schedule, the Pistons have a home-friendly schedule in the first half of the season. So I think they're actually going to start well and things get a bit tougher in the second half. So I'm hoping they start well. I think they've got all the ingredients to start well. Like I said, more home games. Touch wood, they're relatively healthy right now. And they have continuity. This is what, as opposed to last season, like you can't really compare this season to many of the past, but they've got continuity. This is the first time they've pretty much had the same coaching staff, same kind of front office, and for the most part, roster ever with this core of young players. But definitely since the 23-24 disastrous season. So I think that's what's going to hold them in good stead, as opposed to some other NBA teams who might have a new coach or might have more new players who had a bigger roster turnover. I think the Pistons can really come out and use the chemistry they've built from top down through coaching staff, players, and front office to have a really positive start to the year. But either way, I think it's going to be a successful season. But that's going to do it for today's show. Thank you so much for tuning in, especially considering it's only the first game of preseason. As I said, we'll be doing these after every game that I can make them work, which will be 90% of the games. These will be live on YouTube and Twitter. For anyone watching on Twitter, I do have noticed in the past that comments come through way later. So if you're someone that wants to engage in the chat or obviously come up on the stream, it's probably best to watch these on YouTube. It just seems to function a bit better. But either way, these will always be live on Twitter as well. But we'll be back for the Bucks game on Thursday. We'll see who's playing, who gets rested, and what the minutes and that looks like. But thank you once again to everyone in the chat for tuning in. If you haven't already, I would appreciate if you could hit that like button and subscribe. It just helps the channel keep growing. But until next time, as always, go Pistons.